And roll. 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, it's the Curtis and Curtis Show back on this Wednesday as we are getting closer to Minnesota all the time as we race to Minnesota. You know the drill. If you're new at the e-commerce business school, welcome all our new members. You can still participate in the race to Minnesota, even if you're not going to be there live, and win some prizes and have some fun. Get in some of the live presentations from Minnesota in July. But without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Kay Curtis. My first name's Curtis. Her last name's Curtis, and so we call it the Curtis and Curtis Show. You've done a great job, learned a lot through this series, Kay, and looking forward to today's edition.
Okay, so today we're on week 10. We've got 3 more weeks to go today and then 2 more weeks and we're done. And then we will be heading to Minnesota. Let's go to the next one. We give away weekly prizes. You guys probably all know the drill, so we won't spend a lot of time on that. If you're today's weekly winner, you can pick from the e-commerce products, which is a mug or a journal. Next screen. Or we can do the manifesting mugs that I created during this race and this competition. And if you decide to choose one of these, if you could please do it by the name of the design or the shape, that would help me a lot. So we have a cloud, a heart, and a section circle. Next one. We have a drop, a double heart, and a shooting star. Next one. Then we have a pyramid, and then we've got the gratitude journal. So today's weekly winner is, drum roll, next slide, Sharon Safford is our weekly winner for this week. Congratulations, Sharon. Let's everybody give her kudos in the comments page. And Sharon, you know the drill. Send us support what you want for your prize, and we will take care of getting it to you, whether it's the EBS or whether it's one of my products. Next slide. Actually, I can go on to the next one because that was just the support slide, and Sharon knows how to do that. So we have our consistency winners, and this is also our last consistency week. So we're kind of dwindling in numbers in terms of consistency, but that's okay. People have still done really good on that, and consistency winners get a $25 gift card and brownies. So the next slide, our consistency winners this week are Debbie Kane, Sharon Safford, Candida Lillard, and Real Overton. Congratulations, guys. You're doing great. I love the consistency. I love reading through the daily posts that you put in the tracker. That's awesome. And I hope you're seeing the benefit of that in your business results. And then, of course, the next slide, we have our grand prize, which will be given away at the event in Minnesota, which is a $100 Amazon gift card. Now we're up to our goofy question of the week. Next slide. Okay, this one is, what's the furthest place that you've visited? Now we'll go to the next slide while you're thinking about it and writing your comments, and you'll see mine. Going north, I've been as far north as Alaska. My husband and I went on an Alaskan cruise. That was a lot of fun. That's me holding a dog sled puppy, and we got to ride in a little dog sled. And the furthest south I've ever been is Osorno or Portamont, Chile. And that was back before we had digital cameras, and all of my pictures are in North Carolina, so I couldn't pull one. So I had to just show you a map. That was when my sister was on a mission for our church down in Osorno, Chile, and we went with my parents to go pick her up. That was back in the 80s. The furthest east I've been is Switzerland, and that was at the end of a river cruise through Europe that my husband and I did in December a few years ago. And the furthest west I've been is Hawaii, and that again was before digital cameras, and so I had to just put a picture of one of the things that we saw there, which was the Polynesian Cultural Center, which was a lot of fun. So put in the comments where you've been. You can do it by north, south, east, and west like I did, or you can just put the furthest that you've been. Kurt, where's the furthest? You're a big traveler, so where's the furthest you've been?
Yeah, I've never thought in terms of north and south, Kay, so I guess I'd just go east and west. East would be, I suppose, Zimbabwe, Africa, and west would be. I'd have to look at my world map here. I'm not sure which is further, the Philippines or Hong Kong, one or the other.
Yeah, I know you've done some pretty far traveling. So do we have any other? Where do we have comments from people? Where are they?
Oh, Beth Donnie's been to Ireland,
Oh, cool.
and Jackie's also been to Chile, the southernmost city in Chile. That's pretty
Oh,
far
wow, she
south.
beat me on South.
Yeah, yeah. That's it so far, Kay.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, let's get into our mindset training for today. We're winding things down, but again, remember that all of these kind of have a synergy together. They work together, and it helps when you understand the little pieces. You see how they interrelate and help you get the whole concept of how to keep your mindset in a positive space. So, next slide, and we'll flip to the next one. We're going to talk today about the law of gestation in our journey of joy to success and abundance. Okay, next slide. This law states that every seed or idea has an incubation period. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Let's think about this in terms of things that we can relate to. For humans, the gestation period for a baby is about 40 weeks. For an elephant, it's about 52 weeks. So there's not just like a gestation period that's a standard for everything. It varies with a lot of things. Next slide. Ideas are seeds too. And we've talked about this before, how we plant seeds. And when they're held in our mind and nourished with positive thoughts and emotions, they grow, mature, and they eventually bear fruit. Next slide. Now, what is the gestation period for ideas? We really don't know. But we do know that the greater the intensity of our seeking, the sooner they manifest. So, like sunlight and a magnifying glass, when we focus our thoughts and our emotions, we can speed up the process. Next slide. And again, from one of my favorite books that helps get your mindset right, from The Secrets of As a Man Thinketh. Every thought seed sown or allowed to fall into the mind and to take root there produces its own blossoming sooner or later into act and bearing its own fruitage of opportunity and circumstances. Good thoughts bear good fruit, bad thoughts, bad fruit. Okay, next slide. So, what we have to do is you have to prepare yourself to receive. Okay, so this, think of the sun goes in a 24-hour cycle. And if you're in a dark box and you want sunlight, you have to open the box. It doesn't really matter what time of the day you open it. It could be noon or midnight. Eventually, you will have sunlight because it goes in cycles. Remember, we talked about rhythm. But you have to open the box. If you stay in the closed box, it doesn't matter that the sun rotates up and down every 24 hours, you will never see sunlight. Next slide. So our idea gestation period is set and finite. If we do our part, we will manifest our ideas and dreams quicker because we are opening our box and we're preparing ourselves for the next sunrise. Next slide. So, what I want you to do is think big and dream big. I want you to create a new idea for your life that is so big it scares the bejeebies out of you. And the reason I want you to do that, next slide, is because of this quote: make no small plans, for they have not the magic to stir the soul. If you don't dream big and think big, there's no magic. There's no magic to say, well, I just want to make $50 extra a month. Whoop. Okay, $50 may be a lot to you right now, but in the grand scheme of things, $50 isn't going to go very far. So you want to think big. Instead of $50, you maybe want $50,000 or $5,000. Maybe you can't go quite 50, maybe even can't go 5, but you can go 500. Okay? You want something that stretches you and scares you a little bit, because that's really what fires the passion or the magic in our soul to go after our
Hey, Kay,
dreams.
before you go
Yeah.
on, I've got to jump in here and go to the last slide. That sandcastle. We lived in Hawaii for a year and a half, and they actually have sandcastle building contests on the beach. And oh my gosh, talk about thinking big and dreaming big. I mean, what you see here is my version of a sandcastle, a few little
Right.
things here. These things were like, 10 by 10, 4 feet high, intricate. And so it just showed this is a perfect example. I never even thought it was possible to build something so wonderful out of sand on the beach. And so it's just a perfect
Yep.
example. Wanted to share that story.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's true. That's a lot of times we restrict ourselves by what we think we can do. Okay. So, next slide. We'll go past the quote to the next one. So, go ahead and think big and dream big. The beauty is that it doesn't necessarily take twice as long to accomplish something twice as much. Just think, if a woman is pregnant with twins, she doesn't have to wait 18 months. In fact, she probably will deliver sooner than a mother carrying just one child. In most cases, twins deliver faster than a single child. Not enough room in there, I guess. Anyway, next slide. So don't limit your results by deciding how long something should take. Now, we talk in manifesting, which we're not getting into in this. It's good to write down a date. That just kind of lets the universe know you're serious about what you're doing, but don't have that. It may or may not happen by that date. The date is important only to show that you are working towards something. That gives you a goal to work towards, and it shows the universe that you're serious because you kind of defined it a little bit further. But don't limit your results and by saying how long it should take. Okay, next slide. Now, have you ever had a previous dream shattered? I'm sure we all have. You can't get through life without having some of your dreams shattered. But some of us may struggle to believe that our dreams of any kind can come true because of these shattered dreams or goals that we've had in the past. We don't want you to quit trying. What you do is you plant a new seed. So if something's not working, if a dream gets shattered, stop, evaluate, and then create a new idea. Next slide. If I could get you to turn back the clock and recapture the belief of a child, think about that. Think about children. It doesn't occur to them that they will fail. They haven't had enough experience or been told that they can't do it to have any reason to doubt. We need to capture that in ourselves. When my husband and I were first married, and this is a perfect example of not realizing that you can't do it, or not, or doubting yourself. We'd been married about 6 months, and we had the opportunity to buy some land and build a house with a program that was called the Owner Builder Program. So we bought the house. This company, we had the foundation dug. This company came and set the house up on the foundation with all the supplies to finish the inside of the house. We had 3 months to finish the inside of the house before our loan was up and we had to secure a regular mortgage. Now, looking back with the skill level that we had at that time, there is no way we should have been able to finish that house in 3 months. We had no idea what we were doing. My husband's a very handy man, but at that time in our marriage, he didn't have the skills that he's got now. And there is absolutely no way we should have been able to finish that house in 3 months. But we did, because we didn't know we shouldn't have been able to do it. And because we believed we could do it, we got it done. So it's important that we work really hard. If you struggle with doubt, work really hard to reset your mindset back. Watch children. You watch a child that's trying to walk. They don't quit trying because they fall down once. They probably fall down 100 times or more before they finally get up and walk. Learn the lessons of a child by watching them and being around them. And then, next slide. Are you doing your part applying these mindset tools? I've broken them down and taught you all these pieces so that you can evaluate when you're struggling with your mindset. Okay, next slide. We're going to go through a mindset checklist. Okay, these are things that if things aren't going the way you want them, I want you to go back and evaluate and look at these things that we've been learning over the last few weeks. Okay, next slide. So, the first and most important thing is to have your ideas, dreams, or manifestations written down and well defined, and put a date. And I'm just going to throw this in. I didn't put it in here, and it's something I teach in manifesting and writing a manifestation list. Always put at the end or something better. Don't confine your manifesting to $500 a month. If that's as big as you can dream right now, that's fine. Put it in. If it scares you, that's fine. But when you write down $500 a month, you add or something better. That way you're opening the box. You're leaving yourself open to a lot more than just $500 a month. Okay. So that's just a little extra little bonus tip. You always gravitate towards your dominant thoughts. So look at your dominant thoughts. What are they? Are they positive or are they negative? If they're negative, then you've got some basic foundational stuff to flip that around. And we've talked about a lot of things early on that you can do to help you reset that negativity. Keep your thoughts positive by comparing your situation to something worse. So if things aren't going as good for you as you want, look around you, and there's no way in this world you can't find a worse situation than what you're in. And once you find that, then you can be grateful, which goes to our next one. You exercise your attitude of gratitude. You count your blessings. You're grateful for where you are and what things are happening. And then you can change your vibration by changing your thoughts, which can change your emotions or feelings, which control your vibration. So it's like this circle. You've got to get, if things aren't going the way you want, remember we talked on the law of vibration, you're getting exactly what you're putting out vibrationally. If you want something better, you got to raise your vibration. Okay. And you raise your vibration by fixing your thoughts and your emotions so that it's just this circle that you've got to get a handle on. Next slide. There are opposites in everything. Remember that. So look for the good in every situation. It's there for you to find. You have to look for it. Once you start focusing on the positive, looking for what you're supposed to learn, you're going to see the positives in something that you feel is negative, and you're able to then flip that around. There's always rhythm in nature. Better times are coming by law. Okay. So you just have to be patient. Good times, good times don't mean bad times are coming. Remember that. Rather, your good times will one day not satisfy you anymore. You're going to plateau. You're going to feel this need to climb. Remember, we talked about that. So you're going to need to seek better times, and this leads to continued growth. And then finally, our actions as well as thoughts affect your circumstances. So send out kindness. Remember our kindness revolution into the universe. Kindness always comes back. May not be from the person you gave it to. We talked about all of that. So in conclusion, next slide. If you are doing these things, then be at peace. You're in the gestation period. Have some patience. You don't want a half-baked manifestation. In the meantime, work on you. Prepare yourself to receive the manifestation. Prepare yourself so you are ready when it comes. Put the buckets out before the rain. Open the box for the sun to shine in. That's what you need to do. Nature is friendly to your manifestations. The formless substance of your idea wants form. Let it have form. The things that keep it from coming are your doubts and your impatience with the seed. Give it time to grow. Leave it there long enough so it has a chance to draw to itself the elements it needs to manifest the way it should be for you. Back to you, Kurt. That's it for today.
Awesome, Kay. Thank you so much. Again, part of what can help that process, guys, is instead of the $500 example, instead of the negativity, it'll never happen, I can't do that, and just change it into a question. How can I make that additional $500 a month? That starts to open the box, bring the sunshine, and your brain will be even subconsciously through the cycles and the rhythms looking for those answers, and they will appear. So anyway, thank you so much, Kay. We are on our race to Minnesota with a bunch of winners and a bunch of great trainers like Kay that want the best for you. And we know it's not the one with the best skills, even the most money, that's going to be the most successful. It's the one that believes and has goals, and all this mindset stuff is so important to the entrepreneur. So if you haven't heard about Minnesota yet, it is July 19th, 20th, and 21. It's 3 one-day workshops back to back. The series we call the Trifecta Workshop Series. If you don't know about it, the link is in there. Sign up if you want to have a consultation about it. Is this the best decision for me right now? Just go ahead and put in the box, hey, I want to talk to Kurt or Sharon, and we'll be glad to do that with you. And we're going to have some fun, not only with the Race to Minnesota up until then, continuing to give away some prizes, we're also going to be giving away a prize this 4th of July weekend that's coming up, or during those days. We're going to give a complimentary ticket to the Ultimate Business Lifestyle Retreat in August. There'll be 2 lucky winners. One will be given away then, the other, and you have to commit to come to Trifecta in order to be eligible for that drawing. And then we're also going to give not only a UBL giveaway, we're also, the bigger news here is, for those that are in Minnesota at the Trifecta, we are going to draw a name out of a hat and give away an e-commerce master's program membership. And everybody that I've ever said that to goes, what? Wow! Some of you should come just for that. So anyway, here are the dates. Those are the tickets. We've talked about this, and it's getting close. Do what it takes. So, well, Kurt, I can't because of this, or won't because of that. And that's true. Weddings, things, life. But what you should be asking your hip brain is, oh, how could I make that happen? And you might be surprised what happens when you change your mindset according to the trainings and exhortations Kay's given us here over the last few weeks. Okay, thank you so much. I hope I see everybody in Minnesota in July going and making the most of it for themselves. And we'll be back here again next week with another edition and more prizes. Kay, last thoughts. Thank you for doing this for us.
Last thought I can give you is, if you really are struggling with figuring out how to get to some of your goals, try reverse engineering. Start at the end and work back. Look at what you've done, how long it took you to get there, and then you can project looking at what you need to do to get where you want to go. So sometimes you have to work for a while in order to be able to truly reverse engineer, because you have to have data to work with. So if you're first starting out or whatever, don't worry about it. Just set some goals and just go out and bust it and do everything you can. Then in a few months, you can look back over what you've done, and then you're in a better position to see, okay, so this is how many days I sourced. This is the kind of money I'm bringing in. This is where I want to go. What do I have to make? And then it's a lot easier to reverse engineer it. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a great week.